Hi, I've had some interest from other people, and interest in the handle that I use for my mandrels. This is a home-built one. I did it in a machine shop class that I took when I was on the faculty at Portland State University. But it's interesting nonetheless. It has a screw-on tightening device, and so you can just slip your mandrel in and tighten it, and it's in tight. It also allows me to put in forming mandrels instead of the normal mandrel, and I can also put in a Reamer bit. There are Reamer bits that have the same diameter. This happens to be a Fox Reamer bit that you can purchase from Fox Products, and that fits nicely into this handle as well. I don't happen to particularly like the Fox Reamers, and so I use the 13/64 drill bit, but a 13/64 drill bit will not tighten down into this handle, and so I built up the end of that with a product called JB Weld, and then put it into a lathe and got it so it was 1/4 inch diameter, and so it tightens up into my handle as well. So that this is possible. I also made my own forming mandrels, and you'll see that my initial set was 4 stainless steel ones, and I changed over to brass because it's a whole lot easier to machine and it works just as well as a forming mandrel. Okay, so if you don't happen to have a machine shop handy and you aren't lathe proficient, what else can you do? Well, there are some other possibilities. One is that the 13/64's tapered drill bit happens to fit nicely into the X-Acto number 5 knife handle chuck. Now this happens to be an X-Acto number 5 knife handle chuck. They come with a red handle, a red plastic handle, and that's nice, except I don't particularly like that, and so I took this chuck, I destroyed the red handle and was going to make a wooden handle, and haven't gotten around to doing that yet. This works great, except of course that the 1/4 inch forming mandrels that I made don't fit. But when you're making them, you can neck them down, like I did with this standard mandrel and to the 13/64, and when I was making it, I have a standard mandrel that's ready to be used into that size. But there are clones of the X-Acto knife handle. I have one of them here. These are okay. This one does not happen to come with the hole that's 13/64, which is unfortunate. So you need to pay attention to that when you do it. Like I said, the X-Acto number 5s are that way. There is one other brand that uses it, but the hole in this one was larger than 13/64's. I did get this one for a friend who happens to have forming mandrels that, instead of being made out of 1/4 inch stock, they're metric, and they're 6mm. It's made with a 6mm shank on the end. And it turns out that there is room in these handles to enlarge the hole a little bit. And I did that so that it's basically now a 6mm hole. I don't have metric drill bits, but I do have lots of standard bits that we use in the US, and a letter B bit is only a couple of thousandths of an inch larger than a 6mm, and so I enlarged the hole on this. You do have to be a little bit careful on this, because unlike the X-Acto ones where there's a fixed bottom here, these, the hole is all the way through down to the end of the plastic. And so when you enlarge that hole, make sure that you only go in about a ½ inch, 12 millimeters, and enlarging the hole. So you can do that. You could also do what I did with this and on my tapered drill bit, is to enlarge the shank of the tapered drill bit so that it is with some sort of glue. Like I said, I used JB Weld and then turned it down to be 6 millimeters, and then that would work in this handle as well. These handles, this one is particularly cheap. It came in a set of knives and blades that was for sale for $4.99, and so it's a very reasonable sort of handle that you can use. A typical X-Acto number 5 are going for something around a little less than $10 usually, US dollars. So that's what I'm doing with these. Like I said, I happen to like to make a lot of reeds at one time. I have a drawing board with 16 holes in it so that I can make 16 reeds in a batch, and that, for the kind of playing that I do, will last me for more than one season in the orchestras and freelancing that I do. So, some ideas. Happy reed making. As promised earlier in the video, I've made a wooden handle for my number 5 X-Acto chuck. This chuck now holds the 13/64 Reamer bit and a holding mandrel tip, and tightens down on those. I decided that because my desktop is tilted, that I would use a cross section on here that is hexagonal so that things don't roll off the table. I've also decided that because I do travel sometimes and need things, that I would use the interior of the handle to be able to store my bits. The end here is corked, just like we would do in a woodwind joint, and the cap is a piece of plumbing, a cap for 3/4 inch plumbing, copper plumbing. I'm happy with it. I hope to use it for many years.